I got my nails redone. Haha. I do need a haircut though, so I'm going to go back to Stunt Dolly in Dalston. Big up Dean from Stunt Dolly, who sorts out this mess. Because you can see, look, like it's just about covering the bald patches and stuff. But you know, that's got to be redone. And yeah, as we know, London's slowly opened up. I've cautiously sort of stepped out. Hey, there's Stunt Dolly. Just shouted you out. Big up Stunt Dolly. I'm coming to see you guys next week to sort this out. Big up Dean. Yeah, so London's opened up. Cautiously, I've been stepping out and seeing a couple of mates. It's been rather lovely. But this week, my dear friend joining me is someone that I've been a huge fan of from the moment I first saw her. I walked into this dark sort of basement club. Was it a basement? It was upstairs. Anyway, this dark venue, and she was there, and really unassuming. This sort of just awesome looking brown girl, and when she opened her mouth, I was floored. Anjana Vasan joins us today, and such a massive fan of hers. It's ridiculous. Like such a fan of hers, and she's got a single out and. Annoyingly, she's also a really talented actor too, aren't you? You bastard! You're so talented, it drives me sick. Ah,
Are we live?
we are live. We are totally live.
Right. I didn't fucking it good.
There you go. You didn't. What? Did you just swear?
Yeah.
Hang on, wait. I think is this plugged in? I can only hear on this ear. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I was just going over the songs that we sort of did or hear. When we sort of briefly crossed paths, and I nearly wept. I'm just like, that's so beautiful. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Do me a favor, can you move your head up into the frame a bit?
Am I not? Oh, there we go.
Because you got that space. There you go. That's better. Because you're going to have all these comments and stuff underneath your face.
There we
Which, yeah, there you go. I'm going to just unplug this and plug it back in. Give me a... You can still hear me though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you well?
I'm good. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, good. I was just banging on about get my hair done again next week. You know, all those privileged things. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Have you been going out much in London, seeing as it opened for the last couple of days?
But yesterday I went to fast evening for We Are Lady Parts coming out tomorrow. And that was very exciting. But it was completely exhausting because that is the most amount of social interaction I've had.
Was it a proper launch party? Considering, so you're
A wrap when we finished.
a rap party. You rapped yesterday.
No. We did it. We finished filming last year, but we didn't get a wrap party when we finished because we were filming it during the whole, in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and then because COVID rules have relaxed, we were allowed to do a screening.
Okay.
I got to see some of the cast and crew, and I've not seen some of them in so long. And it just felt very exciting, but at the same time, the most amount of people at such a time, it's
quite overwhelming. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, so let's rewind a little bit. We Are Lady Parts, right? I know what it is, but do you want to explain what it is? Because it just sounds a little bit odd.
It is. Well, it is.
It sounds like a sequel to the Vagina Monologues.
Well, it's about a punk band, but an old punk rock band.
Mm-hmm.
I play the nerd who's in, incidentally, country and western music. I am into in real life, who's a nerd, and she by the band, and then all sorts of shenanigans because of that. But that's the premise of the show. So it is odd in the sense that it's completely chaotic and mad and a bit silly. But it's mostly just really funny, I think.
Well, I mean, I think what really interests me is that there's this sort of an all-female Muslim punk band was the thing that I read. And I've worked with a couple of Muslim punk bands in the past, and big up the Kaminas and big up the Tuts, who are like a tritone band. And
he wrote and directed it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, who? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Influence on Needham and Zoe, who wrote and directed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
It comes from a background of loving punk music, and also loving American folk music, and I think those were her influences.
And so, did you get cast on that based on the fact that that's you too?
No, I think it was a weird coincidence that I think the acting side and the music side have been very separate, and this is just one of those weird kismet moments where it happened to, cross paths.
Yeah.
But it came through as an audition, just like as a part. And then, you know, then I realized the music that was influencing the character was the same. Like we were sharing the same Spotify playlist, essentially.
That's
And
amazing.
Nida, who's like this very cool young brown woman who is writing and directing it, who is awesome. And she's, you know, the future genius. We wanted had the same.
Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying. I'm going to unplug this and just hang on 1 second. Sorry, we'll just do it to the phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. We'll just do it to the phone. Fuck it. So yeah, so Nida, you were saying she's just a badass, and
she's a badass, and she was, you know, drawing from her musical influences, which are punk and American folk music, and bonded over the fact that we had that similar love for music, and it's a huge influence that runs throughout the show. So yeah, the show is anarchic and it's mad, but it's really funny as well.
And that's Channel 4 tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night, 10 p.m.
Wicked. I can't wait to see it. Although, shit, I might be out. Oh, fuck it, I'll watch it again.
You can binge it like 4OD, you can watch it all.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it called All 4 now? Anyway, whatever. But so the thing that made that blew me away about you was the sort of juxtaposition between how you look and how you sound. So, like I said, when I walked into that room, which I think was Islington, the Queen's Head upstairs, you were supporting. You were supporting Nikki Wells, and I remember walking in and I saw you just like there, really unassuming, just on a box, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then you open your mouth, and I swear to God, I was just fucking gobsmacked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, because it literally transported me to the southern states of America, and having done like a sort of musical pilgrimage or yatra there, I was just like, what the fuck is this? What am I seeing or what am I hearing? Like completely juxtaposed. So you're a brown girl who was born in Singapore, right?
No, I was born in India, but I moved to Singapore when I was like 3.
Okay, and then you're in London doing music from the southern states. Can you explain that whole trajectory of how that happened? And
yeah, I mean, I was born in India, but my family moved to Singapore when I was 3, and my whole life. And I came to the UK like 10 years ago.
Right.
And I went to drama school in Cardiff, to Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. And then I moved to London straight away. And then my purpose was to pursue acting. And that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. The music stuff has been something that I do as a hobby, essentially. Like when I can, I do it. And I was doing music back home in Singapore with like various bands and things first, mostly as a singer.
Right.
And then, people decided that I like writing songs and I prefer doing it myself.
Yeah.
And it became...
What kind of stuff were you singing in Singapore?
Sorry?
What kind of stuff were you doing in Singapore musically?
Like a lot of blues.
Okay.
A lot of... I had a stint before university, like after I left university and before I went to drama school, I had a stint for a few months as like a club singer. And we were doing like funk and soul, like a cover band essentially.
Yeah.
And then I had like my best friend's a poet, and I would sort of do music with her, like a spoken word music thing, and that was more like my original stuff. So like, I guess I was in like various different bands
right
at points in my life. And then songwriting was something I did on the side. And then when I came here and I didn't have any of my musician friends, and because Singapore's a small place, so it was kind of easy to do it every other weekend, to go somewhere and play a gig. And then here I realized I didn't have the same connection. So then I took the songwriting, I think, a bit more seriously, because it was just me and a way to support myself and keep the hobby going.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that I think I can name maybe, or I can count on my one beautifully nailed hand, how many sort of brown people I know in the UK that are into country, right? Or that understand, or that are sort of into like bluegrass or, that kind of stuff. So I was astounded to come across you. Like, did you find that a difficult expression, or was that easy for you?
No, I think I fell into it just because like, I just, started listening to blues records and rock and roll records and just loved it. And it made sense to me. And then I started listening to a lot of folk music and, you start with like your Bob Dylan, your Joni Mitchell, and then you start going backwards and you listen to like, you know, Back in Time, then you listen to like, I mean, I loved all of that. I just loved all of that music, and it made sense to me. But it's interesting because it's not until I came here to London that I felt like that felt quite strange for people to put together.
Right.
It wasn't something I really thought about very strongly back home. I don't know, maybe because when I started singing first in like open mic nights at blues joints around Singapore, the musicians, I mean, yes, it was very male centric, but it was a really mixed crowd in terms of like ethnicity. So it was Indian musicians, Malay, Chinese, Filipino, Japanese, you know, and then again, is you mostly like the folk scene is very white. So I guess I kind of stand out next to that, you know?
Yeah, and I guess Singapore is one of these places that's sort of almost like an economic hub where you get people there for different reasons and things, and you're going to get that kind of crossover. But I get, well, so how old were you when you left India for Singapore?
I was 3.
Oh, right, fuck. So I was going to say, where did you grow up and like where were your formative years? They were obviously Singapore.
Yeah, it became like my adopted home, so I'm Singaporean. Yeah.
Where in India are you from then originally?
Where in India am I from?
Yeah.
In Chennai, like South
in
India.
Chennai.
Yeah.
Right. Cool, because I was like sort of from going to India in like in the late 90s, early 2000s. There was this big kind of I'm sure you know this, but there was a massive metal scene over there, particularly in the south. So Bangalore was popping off with like places like Purple Haze and stuff like that. So I was wondering whether that had any impact on yourself in the south, but clearly not. It's all Singapore.
No, I kind of fell into music quite late. I think I was like probably 14, 15 when I started to like take music a little bit more seriously.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, it's all, I've always done it for pretty selfish reasons, just for myself. And it's been something that I haven't been able to gig as much as I would like, because for the 10 years that I've been here, I've mostly been doing theatre. That means I'm in a show in the evening.
Which reduces the scope to doing gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the other thing, was that every gig I've seen you play, there's slight variations on songs. And they tend to evolve and change and morph, and I'm just like, fuck, this is amazing. And I guess it's the reason you do the gigs is because you want to, not because you have to.
Yeah.
It just fucking pours out whenever you sing. I'm just like, oh God, it's just such amazing emotion and reinterpretation. And it's also going to your songwriting. I'm not sure any of these are out in terms of the songs that I want to talk about.
Actually, in the album when it comes out.
So when is that coming out?
June 11th.
June 11th. Wicked. And yeah, so there's like in your songwriting, there's songs. In fact, let's go back. So the first EP that you released was called Too Dark for Country, which is a fucking great title.
So that was actually, when I mentioned about how when I came here to the West, and then I felt like, you know, people couldn't quite put my face and music together. I felt like then I had to sort of do a playful acknowledgement of that somehow, because then it would be on my terms to talk about that.
Yeah.
I had actually a song lyric from a song called My Name is Johnny Cash that says, I'm a little too dark for country, which that song is now on the album that's going to come out on June 11th. So I borrowed that title for the EP. Yeah, so I remember doing a gig once, and it's like very early days. I was like scouting out venues in London to play. And I was programmed on a night with 2 other musicians, like the second one on, there were 3 of us. And so it was like a curated evening. It's not like an open mic night. So, you know.
You were programmed into it, yeah.
Programmed that, yeah. And someone did their set, and then I went on and I was doing my set, and I did the first song, and it's like everyone clapped. And then there was a guy in the front row in this like very intimate venue that I think he was trying to give me a compliment. Very loudly said, see, when you came on stage, I thought you were going to be shit, but you're not. You're really good. But he said it like really loudly in front of everyone. And I was like, what made you feel like you had to say that out loud?
Yeah.
And what is it about me that made you feel like you had to address that?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
I assume that someone who's programmed is going to be shit.
That's interesting. Well, I think that's interesting, because what I really loved, and this is why, you know, I appreciate that the music stuff for you is more a personal a pleasurable thing, and why it's not a work thing for you. I was just like, that point of the way you fuck with people is brilliant. Like, I just love that. And I think in this instance, of course, there's this assumption that like, oh, well, you know, maybe it's the color of your skin or the fact that you're a woman or all of those points of intersection that are going to fucking discount you in people's eyes.
It's like, I think it's yeah, it might not necessarily be about race, but I think it's like when you're small, you know, and you're
because you're tiny, you're so little.
Like anything you do, you surprises people. So, you know, but what I hope is that that's interesting for about 5 seconds, and then beyond that, you either like the song or you don't.
And you can't help but not like your songs. I'm sorry, your songs are fucking brilliant, and you've got an amazing voice, and you're like, you don't drift. You're fucking on. It's great. It's awesome. I'm such a fucking fan. It's ridiculous. And I know that you don't know who these people are, but when we were working together, I sent your music to Wendy and Lisa, who worked with Prince on Purple Rain, and they're part of the Revolution. And in fact, it was Lisa from the Revolution, and she went and bought your EP, which is fucking cool. She went and bought the EP, which is like, yo, that was excellent. Yeah, it's proper badass. I was like, holy shit, Lisa went and bought like Anjana's EP. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's a personal thing because obviously I'm a Prince nut. But I think there's that you're.
Oh, hello.
Hi, 1 second, 1 second. Hang on. Sorry, 1 second. So I think that. Hang on, let me just call you back. Give me 1 second. I'm going to call you right back. I just got to deal with something. Let me call you right back, okay?
Right.
Things to quickly jump on with. But yeah, sorry for the interruption. In fact, while I'm here, let me fix this light so it doesn't smack out. There you go, that's better. So yeah, sorry, had an interruption. So sorry about that. Thanks for bearing with me. So I was talking to Anjana Vasan before I went away, and hopefully she'll jump back on now. Here she is. There we go. I'm going to add her to the chats. Crikey. You know what? Drinking sort of iced drinks makes my fingertips really cold. That's not why they're silver. Hi! Sorry about that, love.
That's all right. Okay.
It was not. It was. I thought it was like a familial emergency, but it's not. All is well.
All is well. Okay, that's good.
All is well. Yes, indeed. It was just yeah, one of those points where if you call more than twice, it's sort of just literally.
No, you have to. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah. So all's well. But anyway, where were we? We're on about perceptions and people seeing you and assuming something, and then you smashing those preconceptions. But I think that's, you know, when we first started like trying to do stuff together, a lot of my friends were like, "You're doing country. I thought you were like a big fuck you punk," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's this. That is the fuck you punk bit. That is the whole point of smashing those perceptions, which I thoroughly enjoy." And you're correct, is that, you know, once those perceptions have been smashed, you're brilliant. So I think that, like, fuck that guy for saying what he said, because the whole point of coming on saying, "Oh, I thought you'd be shit," isn't the nicest way to give a compliment, is it?
No, but I mean, I'm not saying it because it felt like a formative moment or anything like that. I don't think he even realized what it sounded like, and I didn't take huge offense to it. I just thought the need to comment, like, give someone set, and I think that says more about his perception of what folk music should look like than it's got nothing to do with me and everything to do with
100%. I was gonna say, in the drum and bass world and the bass music world, a lot of, like, one of the things that has taken people aback that have come and seen me play over the years is that the expression of joy, and this is amazing, is "fuck off," which is, it's kind of that, it's a really offensive, like, fuck you term, but it's meant with love. Well, I don't think that was the case in this instance at all.
I don't know.
Nah. So Abhi Ranjan in the comments are saying, "What's this conversation about?" So what we're talking about is that Anjana, who's joining me right now, is a fucking amazing singer-songwriter and a badass actor. And we were talking about how the perception of her when she comes on stage and then opens her mouth, because she does country and western music, is causes some reactions, basically. We were just discussing that before I had to hang up on her and then call her back. So now we're caught up, I think. Yeah.
Sorry, the cat has interrupted me.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right.
I'm live.
So your single was out Monday.
Yes. Road Trip.
Yeah. And what was, I mean, like, this is such a shit question. Like, what's it about? But what's it about?
Oh gosh, I think it's just like a trip to nostalgia, and I wanted to write a very like romantic, happy song. Um, and it's just like an ode to country music heroes. I think the album is a bit of that, is an ode to like a lot of like musical heroes. It's I wanted to write a song that you felt like you could blast in the car like really loudly.
Mm.
And
I noticed the June and Johnny Cash shout outs.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, have to have those shout outs. But yeah, that's what the song is about. It's just wanting to write like a big romantic song, because I think often my songs are either like they're a bit funny or they're a bit like, and I just wanted to write like about romance and joy in a kind of more open, non-cynical kind of way.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I noticed that you mentioned is the humor, and I think that you've got this, and I don't know whether it's because you're an actor and you're a theatre actor, so you know how to win over an audience. Hey, Nadia's here from the Tuts. Big up, Nadia.
Hey,
Good.
hi Nadia.
And also hi Priyanka from Bangalore. Woohoo! Another Southie in the house. But I was going to say that it's interesting. We're talking about audience perceptions and how, again, how you know, the first thing is that you open your mouth, people are like, what the fuck? And you've got this beautiful textured tone to your voice as well. Plus your songwriting is great. But the sense of humor really smashes through everything. So like, you know, the song that you mentioned before, like my name's, Johnny Cash, sorry. Which was, in fact, tell me the story of that song if you don't mind.
I think My Name is Johnny Cash was literally just a song that I was like playing 2-3 chords again and again and again. I think I wrote that song while I was in drama school, and I happened to have a poster of Johnny Cash on my wall.
Right.
So I was just sort of playing these 3 chords again and again, and it was just sort of mindlessly the words "My name is Johnny Cash" came into my head, and I kept singing it over and over again. So I kind of had the chorus, and then, you know, it was one of those like rare songs that just kind of formed itself as I was playing, and I didn't really think about it too much. But it was always a little bit unfinished for me.
Okay.
But then a new verse for the album, which it helped sort of make sense of the song for myself. This cat will not allow me to go on Instagram Live. He just wants to be part of it. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to have it.
That's all right. No, the cat can hang with us. It's totally fine.
So the song is I mean, it's not a very deep or profound song. The chorus is "My name is Johnny Cash." You know, when I'm
spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, when I'm drunk, I imagine I'm Johnny Cash and I'm singing like a man. Like, that's essentially what the song is about.
But that was the thing that I loved about it, is like, when you're telling the story and the humor involved in it about being wasted and stumbling around London and stuff like that, I'm like, this is just fucking brilliant storytelling. Like, let alone songwriting, it's just brilliant storytelling. So the humorous aspect just comes through, and it's you know, when you, okay, so I'm going to give you another parallel that's probably not very kind, but you know, when you have like poets that aren't very good at actually reading out their poetry, like it's better in writing than it is than spoken word, right? Yeah. But you have the ability to just do both. So again, going back to your acting, you've got the ability to deliver those lines and, you know, do things in a deadpan kind of way that really endears you to your audience, as well as the fucking amazing songwriting and the delivery.
Thank you. This is I'm like, you just giving me a lot of compliments. I like it.
Yeah, I'm just having a drink and flattering you. That's basically it. There's nothing to really call you out on, except for the one thing I am going to call you out on is you didn't tell me you were in fucking Spider-Man.
I had one line in that movie.
You had a line in fucking Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, still, do you know how distracting it is to sit in a cinema and then your mate Anjana's face pops up and you're like, hey!
Well, I think I massively underestimated how big the
Marvel universe is.
Because I was like, oh, it's one line. I think it'll be fun to do. And there are people who I've not spoken to in years who got in touch with me and who know I've been acting for like a long time, got in touch with me to say, I can't believe you're in Spider-Man, like, you've made it. I was like, but I had one line. I love
the idea of made it, as if you're now on a desert island somewhere where everything's just free.
Yeah.
That's, but honestly, Anjana, it's so distracting because I have this, like going to see a film when you know someone is in it is great because you're like, you know, you're prepared. But when you're like in a film and you go, "Oi," you really fuck it up for everyone around you.
I didn't know I was even going to be in it. Like you do a big movie like that, like probably your line's going to get cut. I didn't think I was going to make it.
Mm.
So, you know.
That's a good point. Big up Angry Jalebi in the chat.
Hey.
They're asking Tom Holland though. So were you like, because it looked like the character was CGI, like painted in afterwards.
He was there.
He was there.
He was there.
Nice. And like, was there a significant height difference between you both?
I mean, I was quite far away from him.
Okay, so it all made, yeah. Okay.
He was like on a stage, like a platform. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Again, and also seeing you in Mogul Mowgli was fine because we did a little screening at my house, which was great. But right. I still screamed when I saw you because I didn't know you were in it. Again, this is like, there's no word. It's like, hey!
I'm not good at like telling people what I'm in. I'm not great at that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get like get better at doing that.
Is that because the theatre stuff essentially? Because you're so used to playing a long run, and I guess it's not as wide of an audience as things that are released cinematically.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's also I'm just a bit shit at like, you know, reading that kind of thing. Like I think I'm just I'm very much like do my job and go home kind of person. Yeah.
And that is interesting actually, because I think the whole self-promotion aspect, again, discussing that with music, let alone when you're in something as an actor, is a whole other fucking ball game. And it's deeply, you know, I think it can sort of distract from the art as well. So for you, is it work or the art aspect that you don't want to sort of fuck with?
I don't know. I feel like specifically with music, I think I like that it's something that I do that's completely not affected by industry or money or anything like that. It's not to say that I'm not ambitious about music. Like I think I care about it a lot. And it's not that I don't want people to listen to my songs. It's just because I do it purely for myself. I mean, I like that. I mean, I love acting and it's something I do and I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm very ambitious about it. But I like that music feels quite sacred because it isn't affected by the worry of salary or money or industry or any of that bullshit. Like it can just be this very like pure creative muscle that I can do whenever I want to. And maybe that's why it's taken me like a long time to put out an album, because I think there's been times when I went, why do I need to just, you know, put out something into the universe for the sake of it? But I think there was a few reasons that made me want to go, no, I think I should. And I think one of the reasons was I was finding it very hard to write new songs. And I felt like maybe what I should do is, you know, I had all of this music that I hadn't put out yet, and I felt like it needed some care and love and like a bit of TLC and just sort of like put it out so that I can make space for new songs. In that sense, it felt like that. And also because most of the songs I do, I just play, you know, I'm like a singer-songwriter, it's just guitar and myself. And I wanted to, if I was going to make an album, I wanted to be different. And it wasn't until I met a guy called Tom Chapman, who's a brilliant musician. And that's when I knew, okay, I think it's time to make an album because you're going to produce it. And Tom plays on most of the tracks and he's brilliant. Like finding the right collaborator and not just putting it out. Yeah. You know, it was about when I did it and with who. And it's all solidified for me when he came into the picture.
Awesome. I'm glad that it happened eventually, because I think there's a similar thing where, in a way, it's a position of privilege because you don't really give a shit about market forces, as you've said. You know, you've got your day job, as it were. You've got your sort of other thing that looks after your professional existence. But when you release this album, it's not as if you have to make sure it charts or you want to put it for awards or any shit like that, or fight with a label to get tour support and all the shit that comes along with it. It's a very pure thing. So I think in that instance, you just don't have to care. And so therefore you make the best work without all those other considerations that could perhaps dilute it.
Yeah. And I don't have a team or anything like that. So it's just, you know,
it's probably like a little superpower in a way. It's like a superpower in its own way. Not giving a fuck is your own superpower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, not giving a fuck of what other people think is a superpower. Giving a fuck for your art is also a superpower.
Yeah.
But they can coexist.
That I would like people to like the songs.
Yeah. There is an element of that too. There is an element of that too.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a deep press. There's no big pressure for it to succeed in you know, quote unquote, in those terms, in like a mainstream kind of way.
Yeah. Which is bizarre because I can see, I mean, that's the other thing about seeing, like, hearing you play and listen to it. And it's like, fuck, I really want this to fuck with as many people as possible. Like, so badly. Hey, Anushka's here. Hi, Anushka. How's it going? But yeah, I think that's the other thing is that, you know, I think after I did my whole trip to the southern states and going to Memphis, Clarksdale, and Nashville, and doing that whole trip, and then really getting into the sort of the etymology of modern music, and sort of seeing that the whole fucking Western popular musical culture comes from that lineage, which is just astounding. And obviously we all know that, you know, if you take minority music and essentially make it purchasable to people of a lighter hue, it will become the next big thing, and it becomes an industry. This has been going on forever. So for me, it was really fascinating, just like sort of coming across your music at that point when all these things were clicking in my head.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, this is the best sort of example of almost not, I don't want to say anomaly, but it's like a perfect storm of interactions and cultures in you. It's fucking great. So again, enough blowing smoke up your ass about how good you are. What's the shittest gig you've had?
Oh, the shittest gig I've had. Oh yeah, it was like my two friends who turned up.
Oh.
It was in King's Cross somewhere. I want to say King's Cross, yeah. And it was there was no one, and it was the two friends thankfully came, and I just sang my heart out for them.
That's really sweet. I think that's, you know, the other thing is that doing rubbish gigs. Hey, Good Soul Promo. They do amazing gigs, by the way.
Oh, hi.
They do great gigs. But I think the other thing is doing shit gigs. Not that Good Soul Promo ever do shit gigs, is kind of a rite of passage. You have to do those empty rooms to kind of then play to either to your two mates that give a fuck, or for yourself, or for the recording that you happen to have.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that a lot of people, particularly new artists that are sort of get success, and in fact, maybe not in the singer-songwriter world, but particularly in the sort of DJ world, it's like, oh, I'm not going to go on, there's no one here. Fuck off, get on, do your fucking gig, and learn how to play to an empty room.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's just sort of rite of passage stuff, isn't it? Like playing to empty houses, you know, it doesn't mean the show doesn't go on. You just kind of like, it's just a practice session and then you go home.
Yeah, exactly. Or you'll play for yourself. But as an actor, when you're doing theatre, which definitely sort of, I presume, has that similar instant feedback loop, because you've got an audience right in front of you. So you end up, hey, Vinay's here. Hello, Vinay. Woo! You've got that immediate feedback loop. And so, like, and I've talked about this before, like the two films I've been in, like in fact, the most recent one I was in was, hey, Lyle's here. Big up Lyle Sands. Woohoo. There's a lot of people on this. This is great. There's a kind of reliance in a sort of, when you're acting for film, which I'm sure you know about better than I do. I don't know why I'm fucking saying this. Let me get my words in order. Right. So there's an immediacy as a musical performer with you and your audience, right? And I presume it's the same as a theatre actor. When you're doing it being filmed, you got to wait fucking ages, and you never know what the audience is going to see. You get no feedback. It's basically like the most frustrating experience that I could have, actually. I was just like, I'm doing this scene, I have to do it a million fucking times with a million different lighting positions, and you don't know which take they're going to use, and it's awful. Is that the same in theatre as well? Sort of, you need that audience feedback, or is it because you're just in the zone? Do you notice them at all?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a very, for me personally, and I don't think other people will agree, I find acting very different from music, even though there's an audience.
Okay.
I think the protection of the fact that you're playing a character, and the fact that, like, often you are with other people on stage.
Right.
And it's not necessarily instant feedback when you're unless you're doing a comedy, and then sometimes the the jokes don't land and there's silence and you go, oh, this isn't working. But like, or maybe you interpret the applause as lukewarm. I don't know. At the end, like, you never feel alone, I think, when you're on stage, or even when you're in film, because it's like collaboration. Where
that's interesting.
When you're just yourself and your guitar on a stage singing, I mean, I get like get more nervous singing than I do performing.
Wow. Okay.
I do.
So isolation is the thing for you, essentially.
Sorry?
Isolation is the thing for you, essentially.
The fact that I'm not playing a character, like I'm myself.
Right. Fuck. So it's completely raw.
Yeah, and I find that it's like, oh, I'm this is me, and I don't have like a character to hide behind, and that's what I find, even in real life, hard. Like, this is giving me low level anxiety.
Oh no!
Not having a nice time, because I'm just that person who has that anyway.
Okay.
Like, being myself is always going to be harder. Like, talking as myself, singing as myself. You know, I don't see singing as a performance, so I feel a bit like, oh, here we go. This is how I feel today, so the song is going to come out this way. And that feels very different from acting. And like, you know, when whether you've turned up on set, and whether you're on stage one night, there's weeks of preparation leading up to the moment that suddenly feels live. But with singing, it's just, I'm in my bedroom practicing, and then I turn up and it feels like like you said, isolated. And yeah, and the lack of protection of like, you don't have a character or another actor next to your director, sort of, you know, the notes in your head. You don't have that, so it feels scarier. Wow. Yeah.
I suppose in some gigs you could just blame the sound guy and say the sound was shit. It's his fault. Their fault.
I just couldn't hear myself.
Yeah, fuck it. That was their fault. Fuck it. Yeah. So I've had a couple of questions. So Anushka was talking about key lime pie, and so was Angry Jalebi. So yeah, everyone's like saying talk about key lime pie, because like that is a song that's actually out on all the streaming platforms right now. Because we talked about Johnny Cash and in fact we only talked about Johnny Cash that isn't out yet. I'll talk about the other song later. But key lime pie, yeah.
So that was on the EP.
Yeah.
Honestly, Key Lime Pie is probably the least meaningful song I've ever written. It's like, I just wrote it as a joke for like my best friend.
It's so just off the cuff and joyful though.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's where I came from, like for her. And this is when back in Singapore, you know, because she's a poet, and we would do spoken word and music.
I'm sorry. Someone in the comments just said, Angry Jalebi's like, and don't forget the yodels.
And the yodels, yes. And because we did like a spoken word music sort of collective, she had a poem, and I was trying to like write a little ditty around. I didn't think of it as a song. I thought of it as like a ditty. And then I just, you know, we have an obsession with food. And I just sort of was thinking of that while I put some lyrics together, and I wrote it in like 10 minutes. And then I quite liked it. And then sometimes at gigs, I get people to sing it with me. Sometimes I don't. And then that made it an EP.
A bit of crowd interaction. That's awesome. Get everyone on side.
Yeah. Especially like folk nights, it can feel a bit like somber and a bit serious. At least the ones I've been to for a while. So I started doing like, can you guys sing the lyrics with me, as a way of just like sharing the responsibility.
So there is something to hide behind then as well. But again, just like a theatre actor, if it's lukewarm, you're like, fuck, what have I done?
Yeah, well, there's the risk of like, maybe they don't want to, because they don't have to sing with you if they don't want to. Then it's just a moment. Yeah.
Well, there's one song of yours that it's my favourite song, and you know which song I'm going to talk about now, which isn't out, and I hope it's on the album. You said it is.
It is.
But Paper Boats fucking kills me. It kills me so much. Like, I just, it just cuts my heart open. And also, I think because there's the word purple in there as a Prince fan, I mean, of course. But yeah, it's just amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that's on the album, and yeah, I'm excited about the album. As I think has a bit more production than the EP, which I'm excited about on some of the songs. So it will be different, I guess, from how you've heard it when I live. But
okay. What sort of stuff did you put in on the album then, production-wise? There's like a whole drum kit stuff, and
there's some cello, there's some drums, there's guitar, electric bass. double
Hmm.
bass, the trumpet at one point.
Nice.
There's piano. I mean, it's not all on like they're not on all the songs. I mean, that I think each song feels very different.
Hmm.
So yeah, but those are all the instruments that get featured. There's a banjo, which is on Road Trip. Yeah,
Did you use the slide guitar?
through there's no slide guitar, but there is a banjo that's like a bowed banjo.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
a Shruti box somewhere in there as well. In the
Nice.
back. Yeah.
Did you do the whole Johnny Cash trick of putting it like a dollar bill under the notes?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. There's only one song that's just guitar and vocals, and that is My Name is Johnny Cash.
Awesome.
I wanted one song that felt a bit like the song I would do that's just on my own, and then everything else has like different levels of production based on what the song I felt needed.
Yeah. That's awesome. And again, sorry, I'm just burping like a bastard. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, fucking hell, like full uncle vibes over here. But yeah, okay. So outside of blues as well. Okay, so this EP, Too Dark for Country, is out already on every listing platform. So there's like four tracks that are already out. Road Trip's the latest single, and then the album's gonna have everything that everyone's heard live on your an actual contained thing.
Yes. There's also a song that maybe people wouldn't, if they've had, you know, if anyone's joining who has been to a gig, there's a song which I don't really perform very much, but it's actually a poem by Caroline Duffy that's been turned into a song.
Oh, cool.
And I'm very excited about that because I got permission from Caroline Duffy to turn it into a song, and she's heard it and she loves it, and that's all I care about is the fact that she loves the song. So that was like, okay.
That's awesome. So you got a cover. It's technically a cover.
It's a cover of a poem.
Yeah.
But yes, a poem song.
I'm going to stop. My Gujarati head was like, did you share publishing? But I won't even talk about that on this. Anyway.
Very publisher and everything. I went to the official channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking more about this. Your tunes that you apply to it as a whole. So this is business chat. I don't even know why the fuck I'm talking about this. Sorry, it's just how my head's wired. I'm just like, yeah. Sorry, my bad. But so going back to acting for a split second, right? So there was obviously We Are Lady Parts, which is the whole comedy about a band, is out tomorrow on Channel 4. And one thing I didn't realize is that you're in fucking Fresh Meat.
Yeah, that was like my first gig. That was my first acting job.
That's mad. I've got to go back and rewatch it. But I was literally just did a quick IMDb scan. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was still in drums. I mean, my first acting gig here. Yeah, so I was just graduating when I got that job. So it was my first professional acting gig. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
See, I'm a big Peep Show fan, and the fact that they share the same writers is just astounding to me.
Yeah, have you watched all of Fresh Meat? Like all?
I think season 1, season 2, but I kind of dropped off. I think it was like the 40, like things with 40-minute episodes. I have really bad sort of staying power.
Yeah.
In life, I guess. We would talk about that. Not at all. But anyway, fuck, what am I talking about? Right. So going back to Fresh Meat. Yeah, I saw bits of it. You're on season 1, right?
Season 1, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got to rewatch that because I was just like, no way. So again, the whole sort of thing about watching big films and and things and seeing your mates pop up and then screaming in the audience and fucking it up for everyone. I'm looking forward to doing that again, but at home watching Fresh Meat. And tomorrow, so I mean, this whole We Are Lady Parts thing. How many? Sorry, what was that?
5-minute episodes, so you don't have to worry about it being too long.
Nice. And also, I mean, come on, a group of brown women in a fucking punk band just sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, and it's super fun. I think you like it. I feel like it'll be up your street, but you let me know.
Yeah, I will totally. And what was I going to say next? So album's coming out June 11th. We Are Lady Parts is out tomorrow night on Channel 4 in the UK.
Yes.
What else is where else can you watch it if you're international?
I think it's out in the US on Peacock, which is Peacock's like a new platform.
NBC's platform, right?
Yeah, but Peacock, the thing, I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know how it works, but it's NBC Peacock is the thing that you can watch it on. And there's Stan in Australia. You can watch it, and you can watch it in Canada. I don't know what all the players are called there, but
Yeah.
those.
That's fucking great. I can't wait to see it, actually. Have so you had your party yesterday?
Yeah, and a screening of the first 3 episodes.
What did you think?
I mean, I love it. I really do.
Is this where we test? We're sort of testing your self-promotion metal now, and seeing what you really think of it.
This show I really stand by, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud of everyone that was involved in it. I think it's very, very special, and it was made with a lot of love, with a very, very special group of people. The cast are amazing, the crew are amazing. Nida Manzo, who wrote it, is a genius. I think she's the future, and I feel like everyone is going to be talking about her for like days to come. So I'm just proud to have been like a little part of it.
That's awesome. And what's the music like in the?
The music is a mix of covers, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there are some very, very cool covers. Like, we got some clearance from some musical heroes.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and I won't say any more because that will just spoil it.
Oh, I'm all hyped up to watch it. Yeah. And there's another thing we can't talk about, or talk about. Can we talk about it? No, we can't talk about it.
No.
We can't talk about anything. Yeah. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
I'm just going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no as well. Yeah, I can't talk about it. I get into big trouble. Okay, cool. Well, I think that is a very, very, very good point of like the amount of whiskey I've had to how much we can talk about publicly. And I'll probably call you after to scream at you about this other thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that was good. This is a good sort of point. So yeah, album June 11th, Lady Parts tomorrow. And thank you for agreeing to do this ridiculous chat with me, because it's just
live. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it literally is just like I said. It's a thing every Wednesday that makes sure that I wash through lockdown. It just means that I actually wash. Yeah.
I'm pleased that you've washed.
You've helped my what was I going to say? Yeah, I've had way too much whiskey.
But also, this has just been you giving me lots of nice compliments, so I feel nice. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I can't wait to see you in the reels. Soon. Well, look, thank you for joining us, and thank you, Anjana, for joining me and dealing with all of my nonsense. It's been very pleasant. Mwah. Big love. See you soon.